Understand something. Plain and simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! That felt good! Yowie wowie. Let me in.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Abby's Window. We hope that you all had an amazing weekend. And man, we of course have a lot to talk about on here because we got some more interesting stuff this past Friday on SmackDown. We are going to get all into that and more with this show. So listen, before we start, first of all, appreciate everybody that is joining us. If you all have Twitch accounts and you can possibly go on there and check out the show, we would appreciate that as well. Not that we don't like the YouTube people, we do. We're just trying to see if we can get some views over on our Twitch. So if you can do that, Big Boy Dally, if you want to be involved so at the end of the show, we're going to have a little giveaway, and it's going to be for our Twitch people only. So, yes, if you want to be a part of that, I did put a post up all the way up in the chat. And what it's going to be is those boxes that they had for the Fiend and for Bray. They did a Muscle Man box and they did a Mercy Christmas box. I have some things that I'm going to give away, various items from those two boxes. So if you want to be in on that, you do have to be on Twitch. We're going to do that at the end of the show. And we'll probably maybe have you guys put something in the chat or something along those lines, and we'll figure it out. We'll count off and see how we're gonna give that away. But the only condition to that is you've got to have a valid email in your own name. Because we would have to contact you and get information and things like that. So there you go. Let's get going, shall we? We have, like I said, a lot to talk about from what happened on Friday. Let me just say hello to some people really quickly here. Steve Walker, who was first in the chat. So congrats for being first in chat. Welcome. James Chadwick, Butterspark, welcome. Man, we have Drift Lewis. Welcome to you. DJ B. Tazzy, welcome to you. Kyle Scully, welcome to you as well. Kevin Correa, welcome to you. Let's see. I think I said Drift Lewis. Eva Marie is my love life. I don't know, man. I wonder who that might be. I'm pretty sure. I think I might know who that might be. Moda is here. Hello to you. Go Sox Time is here. Hello to you. Brawny FN, welcome. John Cena 0809, welcome to you. Sunny Wolf is here. Lennon Young is here. Our Twitch is just Insiders Wrestling Podcast, Lennon, on Twitch. And if you go over there and you have not subbed yet, do so. Nails and NY is here as well. Who else? We've got Meme Collector 30. We've got Austin 316. Of course, Big Boy Dally. Dave in real life is over on Twitch. Thank you, sir. Let's see. EJ Movement. Hello to you. BJ NAES. Hello to you from Twitch as well. And let's see. We have Seaweed Keyblader. Hello to you. Welcome. Imtiaz. Hey, how are you, man? CD374, Eric Haberman, my goodness, James Knight. Oh man, everybody kind of filling in here. XLJ4 SONXL. Hello to you. Jake Wrestle News is here. The Dude Lennon is here. Thank you all that have joined us from Twitch, because like I said, later on we will be doing that giveaway. So as always, with me are Jeff and of course our resident Abby, Jodie. Jodie, obviously big news Friday night. We started with a Funhouse episode again, and then we went to a little bit of shenanigans inside the ring. So what did you make of everything?
I don't quite know yet. I mean, I guess, we've all had 3-4 days to think about it. I definitely was paying more attention to what Braun was saying and the way he was wording things and how he was saying them. That definitely caught my attention. A few things that he said definitely caught my attention, which will go into my big theory that we'll talk about later. I love that he opened with the Firefly. As soon as it started and that Funhouse episode popped up, you're like, oh yeah, the Fiend's going to be here later for sure. And I love that he replaced all the pictures on the wall of Braun, just like he did with Cena. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That entrance, though. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That was literally the best Fiend entrance I've seen.
Yeah.
The lights, the strobes. I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah, very
I've
very
missed
cool.
that for sure.
I think everybody has. It's been a long time. It's absolutely been a long time. So let's start in the Funhouse part of it, because obviously, it started off the show again, second week in a row. And as you can see on our picture up on the screen to the left, we have Bray's haters. He's got some haters that are in his DMs. Yes. And he said that they're hating on him a little bit for the whole Alexa thing. So we saw that. And, of course, he went on to say that he would be out later on with someone. And, of course, we know who he meant, and talked about that, why he couldn't believe that Braun did not show up and allowed that to happen to Alexa. And so we just kind of got a little bit of a tease. Now, the one thing that shocked me, and I know Jodie got into the entrance a little bit, but the one thing that surprised me is that he showed up when he did. I was expecting start and end of the show again. And in fact, I kind of almost wasn't paying attention when it started. I was doing some other stuff, and I looked up and I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden, like Jodie said, we got that entrance and saw the lights, and I'm like, whoa, yeah, he's coming out in the middle of the show. Which, you just weren't used to seeing that. Usually he always is, shows up at the end of the show. So pretty cool. And again, they mixed it up a little bit. Obviously, we know why he didn't get the end of the show was because they had Retribution on there. And that was how they decided to end the show. So some of what Braun was saying
Retribution really couldn't have done that earlier in the show. They kind of had to end it out.
Yeah, that's true. They couldn't have blew up the ring, right? They couldn't have chainsawed the ring during the middle of the show. We would have had a lot of problems. Great point. Moda says some of what Braun was saying. Well, he missed it. Went away.
I'll put it back up there for you. There you go.
Sorry, dude. Thanks, Jeff. Look at that. Some of what Braun was saying was nonsensical and didn't make sense in some parts, but maybe that's the way it was supposed to be. I
think it made perfect sense.
Yeah, and look, everybody, of course, everybody's going to get what they got out of a lot of that. I know a lot of people were saying that they kind of thought it looked weird because it looked like he was on a really bad connection or something, but I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that they kind of did that purposely.
Yep.
So we will obviously get to that. But then he, of course, showed up in the ring. He had Alexa. A lot of people were watching that too and kind of saying that they thought it was the same thing from last week, but at a different angle. But obviously it was not. We saw him crawl across the ring, which was very cool. Did that little crawl across like he did with Seth Rollins when
that was great.
There, yeah, it was really neat. Creepy. Love when he does that.
Oh yeah.
And then of course we got when we saw went over similarly to the way he did last week. Started putting his hand down there, and then Alexa stopped the claw. So yes, we will discuss that as well. And then we got the touch of the face. And then we got him kind of like reeling away and like he was kind of disgusted and walking away the other side. And then that was when we got Braun, of course, came on the screen, was talking back and forth to him. And this was cool, too, because this was really the first time we saw the Fiend, in the ring when another person was talking to him. I mean, again, it's just not something we've seen before. So very, very different. And, of course, Braun saying that he didn't care about Alexa and that, he's sick of all this stuff, basically. And he came out of the swamp as a bigger monster than when he went into the swamp, a bad monster, basically. So So let's get into let's dissect this a little bit. Big Boy said, "I love the Braun promo. I enjoyed every bit of SmackDown. It was a good SmackDown. Yes,
Yeah, it was
a good SmackDown. I agree. It was one of the better ones we've seen in quite some time." Meme Collector says Braun's promos in this feud almost replicate cult leader Bray. I thought that Braun promo was all right, says Days fan. So okay, I'm not a big fan of the promo, but okay. Butterspark says Monster Among Men is now the Monster Braun Strowman, and that could be his new name with the boar mask. Yeah, we'll talk about.
We'll get there.
We will talk about Braun for sure. So let's dissect the fact that he still had Alexa. So obviously a lot of people were wondering whether Alexa was going to show up, whether she was going to be there, and of course she was. So of course she was still. Whether she was held captive or whether, she was in the Funhouse this whole time, we're not really sure, but she was still there. So let's theorize, shall we? Because that's what we do. Let's talk about the Alexa thing. As we'll just go in chronological order, what happened here. So, of course, went for the claw. She stopped the claw. So, and then we'll just go right into the touch of the face. So what did you make of that, Jodie? And then I'll go over to Jeff right after you. And we'll what did you make of that moment? What did you think of it when you first saw it? And now since you've had a little bit of time to digest, what did you think that was all about?
I think she was testing him. Honestly, I think she was trying to manipulate him into not doing it. Obviously, because she didn't want him to do it. Nobody really does. But I think that was her way of testing to see whether revenge is really his number one goal.
Okay.
Could he be swayed to take his mind away from it? And, obviously, if you think about, and I'm not getting on this train with Alexa, but obviously, if you think about the relationship that Bray had with Abigail, he always refers to her, as that loving mother figure. So I think that was also her way of testing to see if Bray was still in there by trying to be that nurturing, having that nurturing moment and to see if there was any of Bray within the Fiend.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just give you my thing and I'll go right over to Jeff. All right. So again, with every horror thing, I hearken back to something with a slasher film. That's just me. So Friday the 13th Part 2, if you guys haven't seen it, there is a sequence in that where Jason is chasing them. They get into his little shack that he had in the woods. And so right about the time when he's about to attack, the final girl who ends up in the movie, she ends up throwing on his mother's sweater. And she pretends to be his mom. Jason comes over and she looks up at him and says, Jason, your mother is talking to you, pretending to be his mother. Jason then freezes and he looks at her sideways and he stops. And so she realizes that, okay, this guy's delusional. He's thinking that I'm someone else. So to Jodie's point there, maybe that's what it was. Maybe she was stopping him with that, maybe, if this guy is delusional and he thinks somehow I'm Abby, then maybe me doing this will make him think I'm Abby even more and maybe have him stop what he's doing. So yes, that came right up to me when I was watching it. A lot of people are saying a comparison to Beauty and the Beast. I don't know. I think that's it's a good comparison, really. I mean, and I get it. I get why you're saying that, because with the touch of the face and everything. But I don't necessarily think Alexa loves Braun or Bray. So,
I think she was trying to save herself.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you are desperate and you're in a situation like that, and if you've seen like Silence of the Lambs, if you've seen things like that, when people are in a situation where they're put in an extreme circumstance, where they've been kidnapped, they've been, abducted, whatever, a lot of times they will try to get through to the person who did it, befriend them in a way and make them trust them. So yeah, I mean, this definitely could be that, without a doubt. Jeff, what did you think of that? And what do you think that this means?
Yeah, so I thought that when she did that, I did just like you and went back to the horror movies. Honestly, it's just self-preservation, I believe. I think she was just trying to spare herself a few extra moments there, not knowing what was about to happen. So, maybe she could distract him in some way, but I don't think that she's, has any kind of feelings or anything like that towards him. I think she's trying to tap into something that she hopes is still there, to maybe try and appeal to his humanity in some way. But yeah, I don't think it's anything more than that. Could be wrong. A lot of times we've theorized things and then they flip things on their head, so could be wrong. But no, I think that I think she was doing that to save herself, and not necessarily do anything in terms of, with the Fiend or showing affection or anything. She was just trying to save her own butt.
Yep.
Yeah, we go back to that John Lennon song, right? Mind games, right? Yeah, I mean, look, when you've got this character in this storyline, this is what you're getting mind games. And, even if you want to compare, another good one too is Halloween. Laurie Strode did the same thing. Laurie, when they went to the whole thing where she was Michael's sister, to get Michael to calm down, she kind of will stop him and say, Michael, and she'll scream at him, and then all of a sudden he kind of snaps out of it a little bit, and he looks at her weird, and so yeah, you can go back to really any of that stuff in the horror genre and see that. Now listen, I know there are theories abound, and Bray, I think, just likes to do this. It's going to get people talking. It's going to make people wonder and go in all different directions. I know C Wrestling said something about a wedding coming up in 2 weeks on SmackDown between Alexa and Bray. Yeah, I kind of don't think that's going to happen unless Vince does some killer drugs or something one week and really just decides, to go off the rail. But no, I don't think we're going to see that. But yeah, it gives you so much stuff to talk about. And obviously this was just another cool thing that happened. And everybody was, listen, you guys can tell me when you were watching this that you kind of didn't pause and be like, whoa, like what just happened there? I know Moda said he hated it. Said the crawl was great, but I hated, triple hated that Alexa put her hand on his face and humanized the Fiend. That this isn't Beauty and the Beast. The Fiend meant to be a monster. Well, in all rights, in that story, Beauty and the Beast, he was meant to be a monster too. I mean, we all know how it ended, but he was as well. But yeah, I listen, everybody, again, you can all theorize and decide what this meant, and we'll see. Like Jeff said, none of us know. The only ones who know is Bray, and probably Vince or Pritchard, either one. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So
sometimes I don't even think Bray knows.
yeah. I mean, look,
he knows, to a certain extent, but I think sometimes he just, he goes deeper into this character the longer he's in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they might have had to change things up on the fly a little bit too. We don't know, again, because of the circumstances going on and people not being there and so on and so forth. So there might be some things going on now that was never maybe necessarily an original part of the plan, but they're just kind of working with things that they might have. So, I mean, obviously the Braun thing was more than likely part of the original plan, but who knows? The thing with Alexa, maybe just because Alexa's there and things like that, and maybe they're going to do a turn with her somewhere down the road, and that could be why they're doing it. So let's move on from that moment and let's get to Braun then. So, Jodie, what did you think of Braun's little promo, little vignette? Obviously, seems like we got some heel turn maybe coming. A lot of people are saying it goes back to that boar mask that we saw before WrestleMania. Kyle Scarborough's art, obviously, that Bray tweeted out. So what do you think? Has Braun gone full heel since his little visit to the slump, or is he playing mind games? I mean, is he just claiming he doesn't care and just trying to play some mind games of his own?
I think it's going to be hard for me to answer that without going into my theory.
Okay, well, we've got time. Go right in.
Okay. So, if you look at all the Fiend's opponents and the people that have faced the Fiend, they haven't changed until after they've encountered him. This is the first time that somebody's changed before the match. I do think he has had a heel turn, but I'm going to tell you why. Because he said that he emerged the most evil son of a bitch the world's ever seen. But why? Think about that for just a minute. Just go with me here. So he got thrown into the swamp. He was drawn to the swamp by Alexa. So if you are adding into, she was obviously dressed as Abby, or Abby was dressed as Alexa, however you want to do that. She was the one that drew him to the swamp. The bridge that she was on was connected to the swamp. So if you think about the ending of that match, so Bray pulls Braun in the water. Braun comes up, Braun goes back down. Bray comes up, Bray goes back down. The Fiend comes up. Braun has to come up at some point. Bray went from Cult Leader Bray to the Fiend. Braun went from Braun to what? Apparently what he's saying is the most evil son of a bitch the world's ever seen. So my mind went to, he's going to come up. He came up as his own Fiend, if that makes sense. But Abby also factors into this too. And I hate getting on this bandwagon, but if you think about my theory that we put up a few weeks ago about the Fiend and Abigail being enemies, that Abigail was also always the dominant voice in Bray's head until they were separated from the Lake of Reincarnation. And then the Fiend came forward. So what if this entire time Abby's been in the Lake of Reincarnation? Because he said she doesn't live here anymore. She's got to go somewhere. Okay. The lakes are fed by the swamp. So what if now, after going into the swamp, Braun has some of Abby's power? Because Abby wants her toy back. Bray is her toy. That's who she wants back. So my little theory is they're bitter enemies. The Fiend and Abby are bitter enemies. So Abby is the one that changed Braun, not the Fiend. And that's why we saw him change before his match with the Fiend. That's just my little theory.
Okay. I mean, we've talked about this before in the show, where we thought somewhere down the road that may happen, and one of the wrestlers might portray her in a way. So, yeah. EJ Movement says reports have said this feud is going to go for a double turn. Clarify that for me. Are you saying that we're going to get a turn to heel by Braun and then a turn to face by the Fiend? So it could be possible that Braun has at least almost turned heel at this point. Let me know what you meant by that, because it's curious, because there were some people saying about a month ago that we were going to get a face turn by Bray. So yeah, look, that's interesting. That's a really interesting comment. Butterspark says good theory. Yeah, I mean, whenever we see water, at least with these characters, even from the whole thing with Matt Hardy, whenever we saw water and someone gets, put in any kind of water, it's almost like it's a rebirth, like a baptism of a new character. So it does make sense.
But if the Fiend came out of the water with Bray, who turned Braun? The only one that makes sense is Abby. Yeah.
Nail says, I think the Fiend's always been a tweener. Well, I think he was always meant to be, I think, a heel. I don't think there's any question about that. But I think that I think it's been a tweener because of how people reacted to him. Everyone loves the bad guy. That's why when you see people going to slasher movies, they're rooting for the slasher. Everyone just loves a bad guy. So I think he just became so beloved that I don't think it would matter at this point. And again, we make comparisons to guys like The Undertaker. A similar thing. He came in and he was a bad guy. But he kind of was able to go either direction whenever he needed to. So I don't see that Bray wouldn't be able to do that. EJ also says, yes, that's what I've heard. The comment just went away. There we go. Thanks, Jeff. Yes, that's what I've heard. A report say that the Fiend is getting a face turn or at least a tweener. So yes, okay, all right, fair enough. And yeah, we could that could be possible. Certainly could be a way that they're going to go. So the thing with Braun,
because I mean, we've always said that Abby is really the only person that can control the Fiend. Yeah. So what if now Braun kind of becomes this constant thorn in his side?
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe he thwarts his matches or, costs him some things or distracts him a lot. Or I don't know. I could just see Braun. I definitely think that boar mask is for Braun.
Yeah, 100%. That's gonna be really cool to see. I will be if he comes down. And now we didn't just see the mask from Kyle. If you remember, we saw like 4 little snippet pictures where they showed almost like a chains. They showed a picture of a chainsaw. They showed and we were going right to Texas Chainsaw Massacre because you saw blood there. I mean, does he come out in that mask, but maybe comes out dressed in like an overcoat that's got some of these images on it?
I think he's going to be totally different.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be awesome.
Which again is weird because he has not yet faced the Fiend.
Yeah, that's
Everybody
true.
else has changed after they faced the Fiend.
Yeah, very true. Jeff, what do you think about this? And then we got to go to what is upcoming. Obviously, we know the challenge was accepted, which we all knew, that they're going to face each other at SummerSlam. But now we've got to go to this, and you guys can chime in on this as well. Do you think, after Jeff gives his theory about Braun, that this is going to change the outcome? Because I'll tell you mine, when we get through. So Jeff, obviously what Braun has turned into, what do you think with that? Do you think he's full on heel now? You think he's in between, or what? So what do you think we're going to see from Braun?
I think we are at the beginning or maybe middle stages of his turn. I don't think it's completed yet. I think we'll start to see more of a transformation over the next couple weeks, and then leading into SummerSlam, we will see a completely different Braun. I don't think the change is completed just yet, though. I think we're just about there, but I think we have to see him in that match against the Fiend to match that same type of element. So I like that theory by Jodie, where Sister Abigail is the one that changed Braun. I really like that theory, and I think that we'll see that play out at SummerSlam. I do think that we get him in a mask. I thought it was very telling for me in the swamp fight that the boars were so front and center when we were getting clips. I thought that was kind of telling and maybe a little bit of foreshadowing. But I think we'll see a monster versus monster match at SummerSlam. I don't think we're getting Braun versus the Fiend. I think we're getting whatever Braun is turning into and will be that day versus the Fiend.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree there. So let's just transition right into it. You see it up on our screen. Let's go right to SummerSlam. So yeah, this is and I'll tell you, I've been going back and forth on this because now I'm not so sure. Last week I was sure, and Deanna in chat says heel versus heel. Last week I was pretty certain that Bray was winning the belt. Now I'm not as certain anymore, and the reason being is because if this is going to be monster versus monster, right, then obviously the Fiend now doesn't have that humongous edge anymore because he's got that huge edge. He's the supernatural one of the two people that are wrestling. So he's got that extra, the extra invulnerability, the strength, whatnot, to end up beating like he did Seth Rollins for the title when they thought he exploded in a ball of flame. And of course he walked right out of it. So if that's going to be the case, and now Braun's got some of that too, you're talking now two supernatural entities going up against each other. And, obviously Braun has gotten the better of him strength-wise before. So if now he is supernatural as well, and there's elements of that to both characters, and they're on an even keel, you're kind of thinking, well, I don't know. I mean, look, does this become a thing where they just beat the living hell out of one another? I kind of think this is going to stay in the ring. I don't think this is going to be a cinematic match. I think it's going to stay in the ring, although maybe they will. Maybe they will. We'll see. Because if they're both going to be supernatural people, maybe they will. I thought it was going to be just a in-ring thing, but yeah, we'll see. And if it's not, or if it is, maybe they'll just beat the living heck out of each other. Something goofy will happen. I've seen people telling me that they think Otis is going to cash in when these guys are both like gone wherever they go at the end, and maybe Otis comes in and grabs the time. I don't know. I just don't know, but I don't know. I mean, I know in the background that they want a face of SmackDown, and I know that it's been said that they want Bray as the face of SmackDown, which makes a lot of sense with the merch and everything else. So it would make sense to put the belt on him. Maybe. Now, we heard about the draft upcoming. I know you guys in the chat mentioned that. We heard about that in October. They can move people around. Braun can go. Bray can stay. And if he has the title, that makes sense. I know C Wrestling mentioned that in his video. So where are we going with SummerSlam now, Jodie? What do you think?
I think there's going to be some interesting stipulations on it. A big part of me still thinks that Bray's going to walk away with the belt.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could get stipulation matches. I think about the only thing they can't have in that performance center is a cage match.
Well, I think that's what's coming next. I think Bray, the way the video ended with Braun, I think Bray is going to be the one that picks the stipulation for this match, because Braun said you can have whatever you want at SummerSlam. So I think that's what we get next, is a Funhouse episode stating that Bray gets to pick the stipulation on the match.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a cinematic match. I think there may be some cinematic elements to it, but I definitely think this is going to be an in-ring match.
Yeah. Okay.
But
yeah, I agree.
most of my gut is telling me that Bray's still going to walk away with that belt.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Look, I mean, the facts would kind of agree with you that they would, they want him to have it, because obviously he's the most, important character they have right now on Fox. So, yeah, I mean, logic would dictate that. Nail says, I'm not sure Vince would change Braun to a gimmick and align him with The Fiend, because he couldn't be a mask guy and be on his own. Vince doesn't have enough regular wrestlers for other feuds. Yeah. Listen, if he does go to another show, then you can kind of have one on each show, and
that's kind of what I was thinking. Then Braun gets drafted to Raw.
Yeah. I mean,
you have a monster on each show.
Right. That would make more sense. And he could obviously go after Drew if he still has the title. There's plenty of people there that Braun could go after. So, Jeff, what do you think? What do you think we're going to see in this SummerSlam match now? And do you think who do you think is going to win?
So, I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier when I said I don't think the transformation is complete. I don't think Braun can get to the depths of this evil that he wants to until he loses something, and I think that's the belt. I think that I do think that the Fiend will win, and then that's when I think we see the rest of the transformation for Braun, and I think that we're going to get a mostly in-ring match, but like Jody said, with some cinematic elements, because I think the final transformation happens after the match. I think we'll see a changed Braun when he comes to the ring, but I think in terms of this monster that he talked about and this evil being that he talked about, I think that comes at the end once he's defeated by the Fiend. And then we start to see him, really dig deep. And the other thing I think here too is that I think after this match, I think if Braun loses, I don't think we see him for quite some time. And I think agree. I think that after this, we'll see, like, I know people hate talking about the draft, but I think that we'll get that, and then we'll see him go to Raw, and and unleash some of that. And then I think there will always be some ties back and forth between the two. So I don't think the story is going to end per se, but I do think that this chapter of the story ends, but they'll always be tied, in some ways. So I don't think we see that full change until he loses that belt. And then, because I think in some ways the losing the belt will be freeing to that entity that wants to come out.
Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, wouldn't it be interesting too if he does go to Raw and something happens where, I mean, maybe he teams up with Seth, two guys that used to be, that were beaten by the Fiend, basically get kind of drawn to each other somehow. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that they can do. Yeah, the draft kind of pisses me off because I don't like how it ends up over time. But if they're gonna do it, and they're gonna do it like they did it before and kind of stick to it and not do all these goofy, boardroom things and all that other stuff, I guess I'd be okay with it. But yeah, it's really interesting to think, and that's a great theory. Great, really, by both of you guys. Jeff had some great points with the, is losing the title gonna make him snap? Does that make Braun snap totally? And because then he lost what what the most important thing is to him, and does that just make him go completely over the edge? And then that's it. And then, you kind of almost think, well, what about a rematch? But look, guys, that doesn't happen today. You don't always get that anymore. That's not always a thing now where, a champion loses and they want a rematch right away and things.
Especially not with the Fiend.
Yeah. I kind of think, like Jeff said, if that's what happens and he does indeed beat him, I think Braun will go away for a bit. That does happen when people are transitioning over to a different character. So yeah, I would agree. I think he probably is gone. Some of you guys are saying Payback. I get that Payback is right after SummerSlam, but honestly, guys, I don't think that's going to have anything to do with any of these guys.
Nope.
And I don't think that pay-per-view is going to have much to do with anything that's going on, really. I think it's going to be a separate entity, and I don't think it's going to be a continuation.
Well, I heard a rumor that it's not Payback. Well, they're calling it Payback, but they're going to have a King of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a placeholder, if anything else. Meme Collector says the prediction: the Fiend is badly beaten up Braun in a no-holds-barred match. Alexa comes down to ringside, throws in the towel for Braun. Bray wins, but Braun is still protected. Or Bray wins, but Braun is still protected. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there is going to be a lot of people thinking that she's going to get involved, obviously.
I don't think so.
That's going to be out there for sure, being her involvement so far. Moda says, just to clarify, Braun won't join the Fiend with the Boar Mask right after he loses to the Fiend, but it'll be a little bit down the road, and then Braun will join the Fiend. A lot of people are still
happening either.
Yeah, a lot of people are still calling for the factions and things.
I just don't see it happening until the Fiend is done with his revenge. He's got other things to do first.
Yeah, I mean, as cool as it would be, again, I think you got to look at it a little bit of a almost kind of like a, what's best for business sometimes kind of a thing. And I think that's why we were saying, if you split them up, put them on two different shows, you don't have two on the same show where it's almost kind of a little bit redundant. And there's a lot of stuff going on. They've got this new faction now, so causing chaos. We don't know what's going to go on with that and things like that. But if you have almost, two very similar characters on a show together, then, it's almost like you're starting a whole brand new Wyatt family and things like that. And I don't think that's going to, hey, anything could happen. Anything is possible. I don't think, though, personally, that's not what they're looking to do, at least not yet.
Right.
At least not yet. I predict it comes close, says Jesse Callan. Welcome, Jesse. That monster Braun surprises the Fiend, but then the Fiend takes him out. Maybe. Oh, Jesse's not too confident. Don't forget about Payback. I know, Butters, I get it. I don't think that Payback is going to be a big thing. Nope. I really just don't. I mean, with WWE, and and never had 2 consecutive pay-per-views back to back, I don't think, unless there is some kind of weird thing going on where they're going to take a long break maybe or something. If there's something weird going on like that, then they go out with another pay-per-view. But I just don't think that that's going to be a big pay-per-view event. I think that that's going to be, like Jodie said, maybe it's another King of the Ring. Maybe it's a women's thing, like the one that they did with all the women. But I really don't think they're going to do consecutive pay-per-views back-to-back, especially with the same character or the same feuds. Because usually SummerSlam is an ending.
Mhm.
It's kind of like WrestleMania where it ends a lot of feuds. So yeah, I just don't think that I don't think that's going to be a big thing. Sonny says Braun gets traded to Raw, Randy gets traded to SmackDown. Incoming feud for Randy versus Fiend.
I would rather see them champion versus champion at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Obviously,
keep him on Raw.
we got to see what happens with Randy and Drew. Obviously, before we go there, obviously, if Randy does win, then he would end up probably staying on Raw at that point because he's got the belt. So they wouldn't give him away. Obviously, the champions usually don't get traded. So John Trent says Braun will somewhat hand over the belt, not necessarily lose it. In a way, this is going to be complex, like I keep saying. Everything with Bray is complex. Nails says, I hope this is the last match between them. Is this the third? People could get tired of it. Yeah, you could. I mean, it's been going for a while. You had it back. This started right after Mania.
Yep.
It's been going for quite some time, and this will be their third match if you include the Swamp Thing. Yeah, because they had obviously they had the Funhouse Bray match, Swamp match, and now this one. So it could be a point. And speaking of Swamp Thing, Bray put out a tweet with Swamp Thing. That was awesome. I absolutely love Swamp Thing. Love that character. The fact that he quoted Swamp Thing, I was like, yes, that's very, very awesome. Very, very awesome. So, guys, I mean, look, we'll see now tonight, obviously, on Raw. Are they going to tease another thing between them? We still have 2 weeks to go before SummerSlam. So we have 2 SmackDowns to go, I believe. Yes, we have the 14th and the 21st. So obviously we could, is this the week they're going to confront each other, or they would probably save that before SummerSlam? So that might be the following week. But we'll see. Obviously it looks like it's going to keep going. Moda says, I don't want to see a Fiend faction until he's done either, Jody, but WWE is setting on doing short-term storytelling, which I hate. And the Fiend partner could speed up Fiend's revenges. I see your point. I mean, they're doing short-term storytelling. I don't know.
I think Bray has more control than you think he does.
Yeah. I think, look, and maybe they're kind of getting away from that anyway, because now that they're bringing in this retribution thing, let's see how far that goes. Because if that is coming in, and they're going to maybe tie that back to the hacker, or they're gonna make us wait to see who these guys are. That's long-term storytelling because they don't have to do that right away. Now we'll see if they do it tonight on Raw and everybody takes off their masks, which I don't think is going to happen. But if that happens, then okay, then you've got a point. Deanna says, I wonder if Bray isn't behind the Braun changes and scripting some of this.
It would not surprise me.
Sure. I mean, everybody has been saying that they are, people were happy with Braun's title reign. But, I just don't think that gentle giant thing is working anymore.
No, he's much better as a heel.
Yeah. I mean, we saw when Big Show came in, he was kind of the mean, nasty giant, the heel always, and then as he went on, he turned into the gentle giant kind of thing. So that's kind of been done. Braun just does it in a little bit of a different way, but I think there's just certain people I think that are just better as a heel, and I think Braun is just better as a heel. Yeah. Jake says Bray loses and goes to Raw against Orton. That it could happen. Bray could go to Raw. Sure. Absolutely.
I don't see that happening at all.
I don't think Fox will let him go.
Nope, Fox ain't letting him go.
Yeah, I don't think Fox will let him go. He's a money man.
Yep.
He's a money machine. So I don't know if they'll let him go without a fight, unless they get someone big in return. By big, I'm talking a face of their company or a face of their show rather, which is a Roman Reigns. Someone big. They got to get someone big.
Roman's already on SmackDown.
He is. So I mean, we'll see if he comes
Brock?
back there.
No, Brock's on. Yeah,
Well,
Brock
Brock kind of
know.
went either direction, but yeah, Deanna says SmackDown is not giving up Bray.
No way.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think they would either. Braun in the future against Roman, the Fiend in the future against Orton when a draft takes place, says Butterspark. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Or the Universal title goes back to Raw. They can always change titles up too. Sure. CD says, I don't mind them playing head games with each other, but the non-match 20-minute stuff, I don't like it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Braun can't be the Fiend, so after he drops the title to the Fiend, Braun will have and if you can't beat him, join him mentality. Yeah, okay. All right. Wonder who's challenging the Fiend first. If he wins the title, maybe Jeff Hardy. It could be. I mean, if they want to keep people in the storyline, it could be. He could be doing some things with, if you want to still keep people wrapped up in a storyline with him, could be Jeff Hardy. It could be Big E.
I'd like to see Big E.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Big E, obviously, they're
have
giving
history.
They do. They had history with the New Day when they were a tag team, when he was tag teaming with Matt. So they could certainly go Big E, and Big E is getting a singles push. So yeah, Tyler says I can't see Bray losing. I think the way they're playing this is, I think that they're playing this in a way that Mick Foley played his character, and that is, where they have one character that just doesn't lose, and I think that's what the Fiend is going to be. I think when especially at least now how we're seeing him very, very little, I think that when he comes, it's something big, and I don't think he's going to lose the match. I just don't think they're going to play him that way, at least not anymore. So yeah, I don't think that it's going to end up that way. Braun needs some of Seth's eyes. DJ B. Tazzy says when they do a draft, they need a long time plan and not move people to just move people. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Totally agree. It has to fit storylines. I absolutely agree. What else we got? Probably a long shot, but I'm hoping for Bray versus Big E for Universal title at Mania 37. Yeah, I don't know that would be. I don't know that would be
not big enough.
Yeah, I don't think that would be for Mania. I would be. Listen, I think I'm all for it. I think it'd be a great match.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it'll be a WrestleMania kind of a match. They need a little more. They need a little more pop. Not that Big E can't provide it. Give him a chance. I mean, he's just started with the singles stuff, so let's see how he fares. Let's see how it goes. I would love to see it because hey, look, what's to say? And we've talked about this too with Big E. He faces the Fiend. He's going to end up as a heel. How great would that be? How great would that be? Oh, yes. Now we have a way to get that done. There you go. Rusty Shackelford has joined. How are you, Rusty? Been a while. Hope you are doing well. Deuce Wayne joined. He is over on Twitter. Says Braun won't be able to reach a full level of darkness until he's been bested by the Fiend. It will take that defeat to unlock true evil within. Yes, Jeff had said that earlier in the show, and I agree. It's a great theory. Absolutely. Rusty says timing is everything. So look, guys, it's I mean, we're only a few weeks away. So this is just going to keep getting better and better. It's going to be really interesting now to see what Bray says this week. I would imagine, like Jodie said, it's going to probably be a Funhouse. Doubt we'll see the Fiend again this week because, again, they don't really bring him out unless they really want him out there. If we do get him again, I think it'll be before SummerSlam. Yes, the go-home show.
I think they really need some kind of face-to-face or contract signing or something.
I would love to see A Fiend contract signing would be very interesting. Very, very interesting. So,
Because
I
we
mean, we
haven't seen
saw.
one of those since Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, when did he stab himself in the hand? Was that one?
The one with Daniel Bryan.
Yes. Okay. But that was Funhouse Bray though, wasn't it?
No, that was the Fiend.
Oh, was that the Fiend that signed that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You're right. He did. Yeah, he stabbed himself in the hand. So yeah, I mean that's always cool because obviously he'll do something dangerous with that pen.
Mm-hmm.
Finger poke of doom. No, let's not talk about the finger poke. Jesse said timing is everything. All right, guys. So we're at about the 10-minute mark. And I said we're going to do a giveaway. So we're going to do a giveaway. Those of you on Twitch, or if you're not on Twitch, head over there now. I'll give you a minute or two and we'll read a couple more comments. Big Boy Dally says, I really cannot wait for this whole storyline to continue to play out. Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love Swamp Thing too. Yeah, Swamp Thing's a great, great comic book. So if you want to be part of the giveaway, go over to Twitch now. So I'm going to, as I said earlier, I've got some kind of a little bit of a mixed bag of some Bray merch from those boxes. And I had said earlier that we will do one of those. So we are going to do that. I will give you guys another minute. So when it hits 6:52, I'm going to announce what I need you guys to do. It's going to be in chat, so it shouldn't be that difficult. So if you are all ready to go when the clock hits 6:52, I will tell you what I need you all to do. Okay? So we got 6:51. Rated R Wrestling says, let him in. Yes.
We all did that a very long time ago.
Yeah. Last, what was it? April or May, I think.
Yep. April.
April or May. Yes. I think we're getting close. There it is. The clock is on 6:52. So here we go. What I need you guys to do that are on Twitch, I need you guys to type in insiders. Type in insiders, and I will pick
19th.
19 sounds good to me. There you go. Random number 19. Who says insiders on Twitch, you will be the winner. So we've got, I'm going to let you guys go a little bit here. Tell us what you are thinking as well, guys, before we're out of here tonight. Let us know what you are thinking, what's going to happen with Braun and Bray, what is going on with what's going to happen at SummerSlam. Let us know your thoughts. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, I think I could start counting now. All right, so here we go. If my eyes don't bug out from doing this, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Hi, Chaz.
We've got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We've got 18. And we've got 19. 19 is BGNAES. BGNAES. You are the winner of the Bray merch giveaway. So congratulations. Thank you for joining us there. And yes, thank you all guys for joining us there as well. That's amazing. We really, really appreciate that. And BJNAES, if you are on Twitter as well, send me a DM to the insiders. If not, we also have ways you can get in touch with us on Instagram. If you're on there, we have the Insiders Wrestling Podcast there. You can send us a message via that. You can go, if you're on Facebook, you can go into the Facebook group. I can, bring you in there. You can message us there as well. But I'm going to need your email so I can email you. Oh, wait, hold on. BGNAES says, give it to Sunny. Okay. BJNAES says, give it to Sunny Wolf, guys. Okay. Sunny Wolf was, I guess, the next person in line. Are you going to make me count again? BJNEAS says, give it to Sunny Wolf. Okay. All right. Well, then there you go. Sunny Wolf, there you go. You can, obviously Sunny Wolf and knows me, so Sunny Wolf, send me a DM, and well, there you go. So we saw some very nice gestures in our chat. There you go. Awesome. Well, there you go. Thank you guys again for joining us. I hope you are all excited about what we are going to see this week. And Jodie, take us out. What do you think we're going to see on Friday?
I think we're going to get a Funhouse episode where Bray picks the stipulations of the match. I have a feeling it's going to be some kind of no DQ, maybe last man standing match, no holds barred, something. He's going to get to pick the stipulations of the match. I don't think we see Braun. I think this is just going to be your run-of-the-mill Funhouse episode. Bray picks the stipulations, and then the go-home show will get some kind of face-off or interaction between the two of them. And we'll see what happens at SummerSlam.
There you go. That was Sean Rousset, by the way. It was BGNAES. So Sean is the one who said to give it to Sunny. So there you go. Very cool. I would think so too. I think we're going to see a Funhouse this week, like Jodie said earlier. And we'll see and like she said, maybe it is going to be some sort of stipulation now that is going to be announced. Street Fight says Wrestle News. Yeah. And just forget Alexa. No, I don't know. Maybe she'll be gone until that match. Maybe she'll come back again. Who knows?
I don't think we see her until
SummerSlam.
She turns heel, and I think that's going to be after SummerSlam.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Jeff, what do you think we got this week, man? You think we got a Funhouse episode in our future?
Yeah. I think we have a Funhouse episode this Friday. I agree with Jodie. I don't think we see Braun this week, but honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we got some type of little vignette or something that he sends in to show some more stuff. But I don't think we get an in-person sighting of Braun. And yeah, I think we're at the point now where the mind games will continue to ramp up, and
Absolutely.
And we'll see some good stuff this week.
All right, guys, that is all from us for the week. Again, thank you so much for coming out and supporting us, like always. We'll see what comes with Bray this week. Should be interesting as always. So I go and watch Raw. I know Raw is supposed to be good. A lot of rumors swirling around tonight about that show. And obviously, join us again. We've got our Impact stream tomorrow night at 8 o'clock p.m. So if you like Impact, come over and watch it along with us. We have on Wednesday our regular podcast. We also we're going to have an interview as well. We're going to do this a little bit later, actually in about a half an hour with Ryzen. So the guy who was doing the Free the Delete with Matt Hardy, we're going to be talking to him very shortly in about a half an hour or so, and we will debut that interview. Will probably be on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. And then, of course, our regular podcast with Gary Cassidy is on Wednesday as well. We'll be talking about what happened throughout the week in wrestling. And then we're going to do another top 10 on Twitch. So a triple T with top 10 on Twitch we're going to do on Thursday. I think we're going to do top 10 dumbest gimmicks. We did the creepiest gimmicks. This week we're going to do top 10 dumbest gimmicks of wrestlers. So we're going to do that for the Twitch people on Thursday. Friday, of course, we have Hot Tag with Macho Man Part 2 with Brandy and Jeff. And then, man, we're getting close. We are getting close to our watch-alongs, guys. We are going to do NXT on the 22nd. NXT TakeOver will be our first of a WWE watch-alongs, and then we're going to do SummerSlam the next day. So come on over and join us for that as well. Exciting stuff coming up. And we look forward to bringing you all of that and more. Watch our Twitter, because I know there's an insiders army on Twitter as well. If you guys haven't, go and give them a follow. They will follow you back. You can be part of our army and just look for our logo and with us with face paint. So check that out if you haven't also. And yes, again, like I said, as always, from Jodie and myself and Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. We will talk to you all again soon. Take care, everybody.